Hey there, welcome to the TTR Wor Lasses Show with me, Lady Sam, and local legend, Aran Embleton. Please do get your likes in early. We really want to promote the women's team, and likes obviously help us in the YouTube search algorithm and all of that lovely wizardry. Super chats, drop us one, guaranteed to get your comment read out, of course, and subscribe. Simply because we are class. So, Aran, welcome. How are you
Oh,
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Really good. Really good to see that the season has kicked off for the
Yeah.
lasses. So it's
Uh,
great to have that back.
yeah.
Really excited. We've got lots to talk about tonight as ever. So we've got a bit of an agenda to run through. But we've got something to kick off first. And Aran, not sure if you caught it or not, but there was an interview posted on Barclays Women Championship, their YouTube channel, where the game was shown on Sunday, and it was with Demi Stokes and Body. And
Mhm.
I just wanted to sort of get your thoughts and feelings on it, because I personally thought, do you know what, it was really fun, it was really
Yeah, it was.
natural.
It
But
was.
what really stood out for me is probably how they both bonded as
Hmm.
teammates. It was like lasses just like
Like
chilling and
having a
hanging
laugh.
out together. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Like you could see straight away because it's always hard as a player when you come into a club. And to be fair, there's been six in the starting lineup at the weekend that was playing. So you can imagine half of the team, the squad, is being new and brought in from all different teams, and half of them don't know each other and they know of each other, but they don't know each other. So to see that where they were having a bit joke on, laugh, carrying on, it was like watching two mates that have been friends for 15 years. Like it was
Yeah.
great to see. It takes a lot of work, and I'm sure obviously Becky in the background has been getting them to. She'll have had things in the background to facilitate to get them to use teamwork and get to know each other. But still, for one game, there's only been one game played. You could see it. It was good to see. It was good.
Yeah, it was really nice, and probably you can give us a little bit of insight here. But how long typically does it take? Because obviously, seeing them both together,
Mm.
it looked like they've been together and good mates for absolutely years
Yeah.
and years.
Mhm.
What would sort of team building involve, and how long can it typically take to actually get that cohesiveness with your teammates?
It's it's a hard one because it's on an individual basis, and it depends on socially what you like. And I mean you're training what 6 hours a day together. You're sharp getting to know each other because the amount of time you're spending together. It's like sitting next to someone and you're at work. You get to know them fairly quickly, even over a weekly period with your chatting and things like that. They'll have done team bonding games. They'll have getting, stuff to know each other. They've got psychologists there that'll I'll have that all in play. But the hardest part about it is you can get to know people. You've got the communication. You have the laughing training, and you do all the fun stuff. But then when it comes to the pitch, you know, it takes time to settle in because you've got to know the people that you're playing with. And you can train as much as you want, but when you're thrown into a game situation, it's completely different. The atmosphere is different, and as well, you've got to learn to read each other. And that takes time. And the previous team had that, and you've seen what happened. They walked the league. They knew where, as soon as Potsy picks up the ball and she delivers in the danger area, Katie Barker was on the end of it and she knew where she was going to put it. And that takes, they need about 5 or 6 games bedding in time to read each other, where they know these things. When you're a centre forward, I was up front and I played either wings or up front behind the front two. And it takes time to know where your forwards are. Some the likes of the Jamaican international Hales come in. She was very good at coming off a defender, receiving the ball back to goal. She's great. She's a bit like a Harry Kane. She'll hold the ball up very well and play the midfield in. Where you've got the likes of Katie, she's very quick, and she likes to get behind the defenders. So again, the midfield, especially when you've got new forwards in, they start to learn and pick up. You know, is it ball to feet or is it a Katie Barker? Do you spin and are you getting behind the back four? So that takes a little bit of time off the field stuff and like the kind of camaraderie, the laugh, the joke. You become very good friends because you're in the same surroundings 24/7. It just takes that little bit longer on the field to start to read each other and know. I know as soon as Potsy picks up the ball, I'm going to spin. I'm in behind because I know it's going to come over the top, and that's only because I've watched numerous games. I know who's a player, but new ones coming in have to start to pick that up. Do you know what I mean? And that takes time.
Yeah, for sure. We saw it in the interview. Quick shout out to Michael McIntyre, regular viewer and donator. So thanks for the super chat, mate. Hi, Wor Lasses, Toon. Yes, indeedy do. I think what I particularly picked up on in that interview as well is that they spoke a little bit to training and the excitement. So Body was that I just can't wait to get started. I feel like I'm home. You know, Stokes mirrored that exactly as well. The banter was there, the crack was there. They were talking about the music that they were playing in the dressing room. But what I thought was interesting, which we'll start on when we kick off into talking about the game on Sunday. But Body was actually talking about her training during the off season. So she actually said that she trained harder because she was training abroad in 38 degrees heat.
Yeah.
And that probably showed in the performance. So now's probably a really sort of good time because they were talking about pressure. They were asked questions, you know, are you feeling the pressure on the back of a double promotion?
Mhm.
You're now in this league. What are you excited about? And then it was just like, there's no pressure, it's excitement. And that for me is probably coming from the messages from Becky in the training room. She was saying she was most excited about playing Sunderland. That was a great day for the fans as well. And when she asked Stokes, what are you most excited about? And what is the goal for the season? She just went, to win. And I just thought,
Come
mic
on, laugh.
drop
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, it was absolutely class. And probably a good time to go into the match on Sunday. So Sunday 8th, if nobody caught it, the Barclays Championship have got a YouTube channel. As a little disclaimer, because there was loads of crack in the chat, they're not playing all of the championship matches on that channel. Luckily, they played Newcastle against London City, which ended in that 1-1 draw. So Aran probably wasn't the fairy tale start, but I think you mentally prepared us all very, very well that this is going to be very, very tough and we need to sort of bide our time with this.
Yeah.
We obviously would love to win, lots of positives,
Mhm.
lots of development areas. Take it away. What's your feedback on the match?
Throughout the week, I was so excited for the game. And then obviously for the game at the weekend, and they started off really well. Again, it all comes down to the amount of players playing on the pitch that were new, 6 of them, and the time that's needed to gel. I thought that we got caught a couple of times over the top. Taldog was slightly out of position at times, and that'll come. But it get the balls over the top allowed Asllani in, and you kind of give someone of her caliber with 180 caps from Sweden that sort of space. I mean, she's come in. Absolutely star signing. When I heard that London had signed her, I was like, oh, because like she's outstanding and she's one of them playmakers in midfield. And I could see from the beginning she was going to be. Well, it was obvious from everyone that she was going to be their playmaker, and that's what she did. She played it, and she, like pretty much just behind the front too, and she was making everything happen and caught us a few times. Down to
Yeah.
the goal. But from our side of things, I thought Alicia Body absolutely dominated the midfield, like she really did. It was very much like when she had the ball, she makes things happen. She's that bit of magic in the midfield. We changed slightly formations because we normally play like a 3-4-3, and I found that we're playing more of a 4-5 in the middle. It was jam packed in there. Both teams on either side, no one got a hold of the ball. Um, they weren't keeping possession. It was a bit of ping pong, a bit scrappy. But I suppose it's to be expected. The first game of the season, both teams have had new players come in. They need to gel. Hales, again, fantastic up front. I really liked the look of her. She came, she was holding the ball up, she was playing in left, right. Demi Stokes, a few times got caught too far up the pitch, where she was tracking back and I had a ball diagonal over the top, and but she's an attacking player. That's what you get with Demi. Do you know what I mean? Down the left hand side, you'll always get that. And she's got a fantastic delivery on her. But overall, two teams. It was head to head. There wasn't much between were. But it's me nitpicking as a footballer, so I look and I
Oh,
think
here we
like
go. Here we
I
go.
cannot help it. I cannot help it. Yeah,
We can't just have a minute of positive. She's got to go in. I
I
know.
cannot help it. I'm, you know what I'm like
I know.
analyze everything, and yeah, I think they're picking up the tracking back for their goal. As Lonnie should never have had that amount of space in the middle to drive forward and hit it. The
But
ball
what
was
was that
crossed across the
about?
box.
Like, sorry to cut over you, but it was a mistake on our
Mhm.
behalf. Like, and we allowed that to happen. We allowed the goal in because I think other than that, my observations for it, I think we we
Mhm.
we were leaving too much space. I
Yeah.
think there's some of the lasses who maybe need to get up to speed a little bit, like the performances. And this is obviously like a fan looking from last season's
Mhm.
perspective. I'm looking at them thinking, oh, are you a little bit off, like Cataldo and Barker? I thought, "Okay, what's going on, lasses?" But is that
Yeah.
probably the difference that I'm
That's
seeing in the challenge, Aaron?
Sam, literally, that's the difference between the levels of playing. Like it was easy for them last season because they were way above that level. Now they're playing against players that are strong in the challenge, that are equal, have the same sort of ability, and are up against it. And this is where you, as a player, you start to test yourself against, your level at that point, and you see the ones that are slightly higher that played in already the WSL and moved down. But yeah, that again, it's positional play, and Becky will do phases of play with the players and training, to work out the back line and get them to tuck round. But the ball over the top of Cataldo were caught quite a few times, and then it was the right hand side they were attacking down, and um, they just got free, and it was a ball across the box really, but she was in acres of space, and I was thinking, who's picking her up? It was obviously what they weren't tracking the players, and so it was an easy finish for an international of that caliber, and she slotted it away. But positive wise, Sam, like it was everything I expected from the first game of the season. Being honest with you, it was head to head, and these players have stepped up, some of them in within the team, some of them's already played at this level and even higher. But you can see the potential in this team. Like the players were brought in were very good. You could see the ability with the ball. And again, like I mean, what was sitting sixth in the league first game? Sunderland dropped points. Durham did all right. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
what
they
what more
did.
do I want? We're above Sunderland.
And we need to call this out. So
You
it
know.
was fantastic because those of us who couldn't travel down on Sunday, we a lot of the TTR fam, we were sat on YouTube watching together, and you
Yeah.
start to see all the familiar names coming through on YouTube. So we were all having a bit of banter in the chat, and what was it, the Macam Warrior, I think they were called the Macam Warrior, and they would not stop, Aaron.
Oh,
Like,
well, they're
just,
relentless. I didn't see
oh,
that.
just literally, it was as if, and it was, oh, sorry, Wayside Warrior. Thank you, Tom. We need to talk about this because this this Jack was literally in the chat, like
Mm,
from the start of the game, saying how rubbish we were, rubbish formation, all of this, like, and basically was copy and pasting the same comments over and over
mm,
again. But
yeah.
then, literally, like pretty much everybody from TTR was just bang, 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 bang. But we were keeping an eye on the Sunderland game as well. So as the
Yeah.
like scores were totting up, we were just like,
Oh, giving
sorry.
the banter back.
Oh, it was, yeah, it was. But you know what? That's what it's about. And I know
It
we're
is.
all here, like, let's collectively support like women in football. I'm kind of a fan of any type of northeast football. Anything that supports like the local area for me is great. But there's just that special type of hatred for Sunderland, which is
Oh,
just gold.
Sam, man, like, don't get us wrong. I love women's football. I've lived my life in it and all of that, but I bleed black and white, man. I bleed
Yeah,
black and white,
it
and
was so funny.
it just so happens like Mel Ray, who's the Sunderland manager, used to play up front with me. When I played for like Blythe Spartans, and we moved around a bit, but we grew up for like 10 years playing. When you talk about having some sort of like rapport on the pitch and knowing your teammates and knowing when they're going to make that run to play the ball, like that's me and Mel had that, and now she's Sunderland manager. I'm like, no, no, what you doing? But yeah,
Girls got to eat, Aaron. How are?
yeah, I know, I know, I know.
Anything it takes. I do need to have like a bit of a shout out here. The ruffian Benissian, who's one of our mods in the chat tonight, was actually hitting the We Aside Warrior with these massive like financial fact bombs about like it was
Love
just
it.
like, oh, I was giving it like PSR, you spend a fortune. I'm like, mate, really? And the ruffian was just in there, just giving it the entire time. Anyway, I
Class,
do
love it.
digress, but it added the banter element, which is it's nice. It's nice to do. It's fun. It's fun stuff. Aaron, I think the thing for me I probably do want to call out is somebody that yours want to watch was Furness. And I think it was Cataldo and Baker actually who last season were fantastic. I absolutely
Mhm,
loved them two working together, but they seem to really struggle a bit
mhm,
at one point for me. Like possessionally, we kept
yeah,
on losing the balls. It was a really tight 2-on-2 at
mhm,
sometimes in the game.
yeah,
But what I was noticing was like Furness was almost like the fire extinguisher really.
mhm,
She was just swooping in, take possession back and got us out of trouble completely. So I don't know whether that's
yeah,
maybe an experience thing or just has that awareness of when to sort of come in and say, listen, I'm helping out here, lasses. Like, what is
yeah.
that?
It's a bit of both, really. It is experience. She's very composed on the ball, Rachel Furness, and she can read the game so well. So she was really hard in challenges. At one point, I was going, what? Like, I think it was a sliding challenge, and it was crunching. And I thought, who's going to come out the worst? Yeah, and I thought, I know who it is because I've seen her do them loads of times. And yeah, she was breaking down play forward, like phenomenally, breaking down the play, getting possession back, and then playing somebody in. I thought she did really well again. Absolutely, you've got to call this one out. But Jazz McQuaid, she's a young lass. She's come in. She played in Tier Three. She managed to put herself in the starting 11 of Tier Three. She was kept coming on as sub, and it was like blistering every time she was coming on. It was goal after goal, and then straight into the championship and an assist straight away. Through the middle, she was left in a bit of space. She turned, picked up the ball, played heels in for to finish it, which was a side foot for a Jamaican international of her caliber, just to put it in. But again, I've got to give hands up, Jazz McQuaid, like young, upcoming, fresh, absorbing the information and the coaching she's getting, and she's coming on leaps and bounds, and it was good to see. I was smiling when I was watching because I thought, you'd go on, Jazz, like she's young, and I want her to do really well, and she's done phenomenal. No one expected her to do last season what she did. And I
Yes.
was hoping maybe for her to pip a goal at some point, but it was the first game, and she was bedding in again. She'll get used to the pace and think, wow, this is much faster than we've been used to. And you've got to be on your toes, you've got to be nippy, you've got to be aware, checking over your shoulders all the time, and that'll come. That'll come.
Yeah. And I think for me we've got to talk about, Hales, the new summer signing from Jamaica, opening the scoreline for us after 20 minutes and then
Mhm.
had chances throughout the game as well. I mean,
She
she
did.
missed an absolute sitter.
She
And
did.
it was, oh my goodness. But, it's like adrenaline, who
Mhm.
knows what's going on that moment. It was so quick.
Yeah.
But I thought a really, really promising start. Like the
Really
finesse, the
strong.
accuracy. Yeah,
Really strong.
absolutely.
I've
Absolutely.
seen her like really hold her defenders off, and making space. And I love the fact she was playing people in. And that's the kind of player she is. But clinical finishing, side foot, bottom corner, keep her no chance. So she got herself a goal straight off the mark in the first game, on her debut. So I mean, it's all positive. Like I did as soon as I'd pretty much in the first 5-10 minutes of watching a new player. Like I'm quite bad, me. I do look at them and I kind of I weigh them up straight away, and I really like the look of Hales. Like she's going to be phenomenal this season. I can tell already.
All right, so here's some insight then. You're saying that you're like analysing them straight away. If anybody doesn't know Aran, by the way, this is just like Aran 101. She's just analysis paralysis over
Just
here. Like
terrible for it.
what are we looking for? Is like a regular fan just watching the match,
Mm,
like what should we be looking for? Because this is probably a really great time for, new fans to come in,
yeah.
start getting some interest in the
Mhm.
Lasses team. What should we be looking out for?
Well, it all depends on what you're kind of looking at. So, like for me, I'm wanting to see ability that they can play at this sort of level and not just play at this level, be, you know, a step up from that. Are they going to be quick enough? Are they reading the game well enough? Because that's a big thing. Like at this level, people are a bit more can I say it? A bit more tricky when it comes to, you know, getting something out of nothing. You know, playing balls in, going round someone, putting it in behind the back four for your centre forward to run onto, and being creative with the ball. I'm looking for creativity really. And I'm seeing that from the likes of I see Jazz McQuaid doing it. I see Alicia Body does it like without thinking. It's a natural ability she's got, which is hence why she's played for England at a youth level. And no doubt in my mind in the future she'll be a star of the show. But yeah, and as soon as a player starts, I want it's okay to just be part of the team, but are they stepping up? Can you see that little bit something different about them, to change the state of play, or if it's a defender, are they the positional play at the back? Are they tucking round? Are they keeping an eye on other slightly out of place from the likes of Potsy at the back and again, Leanne Cooper I thought was outstanding, very strong. Held her own at the back. She was like a brick wall against. Her and Potsy are very similar players, and when I seen her in the first couple of challenges, I was like, I like this girl. Like you've got a brick wall there with them too. It's just
Well, I
yeah,
tell you what, before I mean Potsy's one of my like favorite players, but before we do that, we do have a super sticker in from Ray Fegan. So thank you so much, mate. Thank you very much for the support there. Really appreciate it. And I to probably talk about how fantastic Potsy was. Just like the backbone, the
yeah,
reliability,
always.
just just she's just a shit house and just does it like just can just
I love that.
I absolutely love that a bit. And
Yeah.
she can change the direction, she
Mm.
can spin on a dime, she just gets the job done and got us out
Just
of a lot of trouble in the second half. Now we spoke about this in on the last show and it was about the fitness level, and I really want to pick your brains on this because this was essentially the first showcase that we got of it.
mm,
And people in the chat let us know, but it was really interesting to see. Normally in the second half of games it looks like we step it up a gear, but actually it's the physicality difference because the other teams weren't full time as we were. We had the fitness as probably that what we needed to kick us on. We
mhm.
don't have that now. What
Yeah.
did you think in terms of that fitness difference between the first half and the second half? Because it seemed pretty even Stevens for me. It was head to head the whole time.
I don't now in this league there is a lot of the teams are professional, so you don't have that extra what you're saying where a full time professional team and a non professional team where when it gets to about 65 minutes you start to steamroll of the game because they don't have the fitness. In this league they do the championship they do have this fitness, so it really goes down to ability of the players, and reading of the game. But I think it was just it, it had a and it did have a draw rate all over it majority of the game, and that was down to not neither teams, no no Newcastle us, no London City kept possession of the ball for any length of time. For 3 passes, 4 passes maximum, and it was broken down. And I would like to have seen, like I say, the ball being held at their feet, a bit of composure and playing a bit of football rather than a bit of ping pong, which is what it became. I was a bit like, somebody just get a hold of the ball, Potsy, calm the team down, and
Yes.
just
Yeah.
play football, play it along the back line, give yourself some breathing time, play down the wings. But I felt like that London City had watched clearly games from previously and they were cutting off on either side. I felt Barker was playing obviously more of a right winger, which seemed to be why they would seem like we normally play with two banks of two in the middle. That's how we always play: three at the back, two with two, and then your three up front. We didn't. We played completely different. We played more four at the back, large amount in the midfield, 4 to 5, and I think I don't know. It was too cramped in the middle. It was
It
just
was
too.
it was it was really compact, I think,
Yeah.
compared to what I'm used to seeing here. And like Chippers has got a good thing here. Do you think the second half changes may need to be made earlier till the lasses get to grips with the league?
Yeah,
What do
I
you
do.
think, Aaron?
100%, yeah. Some fresh legs on, and I mean, you've got the likes of what Emma Kelly's got an ankle injury, so when she comes back, I mean, we're missing. Emma Kelly was an absolute star last season. She was phenomenal, alongside Body all the time, and when I seen the changes come on, and I seen Stobbs come on, and she had the ball and she went past a couple of players again. Stobbs is someone that can make something out of nothing. She's got that little bit of genius in her. And she did as soon as she come on. So yeah, I have to agree with that. The changes could have been earlier. It beds people in because we're very diverse as a team in Newcastle. We've got the level of players we have. We can use them off the bench. It's not the case of a lot of teams don't have the comfort we do, where the ability maybe not quite there yet, and they're feeding them in. These players have played, some of them, WSL, and you bring them on the pitch. Like, we've got that, and we can do that, and know we can trust those players going in. So 100%, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it was a I think it was a strange one for me. I think, when Potts came on, I think things came to life a bit. And I think she did that. She blocked a shot, and I think it was like about in the 80th minute or something, and it was just like someone kicked a ball against a wall and it just bounced off and deflated. Like she just was completely having none of it. And I think that's what we kind of need. We need somebody who's got the composure there. Probably who I want to move on to talking about next is our coup signing from Sunderland, Claudia Moan. For me, Aaron, my goodness, like tested throughout, constantly switched
Mhm.
on. Like our
She's good.
defenses could at times were
Yeah.
a little bit nervy, and we
Mhm.
allowed them to have so much freedom down the wings, which led to errors. But it
Mhm.
just her ability to track the ball and just the constant awareness, like she just didn't let it down for a second. What did
No.
you think? Because obviously, I think the substitutes were interested. I think we had Hawkins on, like
Mhm.
Donnelly has got a bit of a question mark, still appearing on the Newcastle Women's website, but I
Mhm.
haven't seen hiding a hair. I don't know if you've heard anything.
No, I haven't heard anything. I mean, it is always hard when you bring new keepers in, and especially of Claudia's sort of caliber. She player of the season and for the league last year. She's got the ability to come and grab a ball out the end, pick it out, which is what goalkeepers are meant to do. They're meant to have that sort of stature to be able to read the game. As soon as the cross comes up, they know the awareness to go up and grab that ball before anybody else. They put their head where nobody else will. None of us players want to put it. So hats off to any goalkeeper. But no, yeah, I thought she was really good. She read play very well. She is a keeper. Fast feet is important in moving your feet, because you can have a shot and you've got to get back up, and you might have to stop a shot again. Um, but no, she stepped in at times. Obviously, Demi being captain, a new thing. Obviously, her running out, and rather than stops. And as a goalkeeper, it's renowned in football, and a lot of people will know this. All the listeners, that the goalkeeper tends to be like the captain majority of the time, because I used to think, well, you shut up. And yeah, that's all you hear, the keeper, because they can see the whole of play, or they can read it all. So they're instructing the back four, push out, pull down, get back. The midfield, then if you lose the ball in a position you shouldn't really have lost it, and putting your team under pressure, you'll know about it because your keeper is screaming at you. And you're like, I used to go, oh my God, I have to block the keeper out, because they're there, they're the voice of the team, other than the captain, because they can see the whole full phase of play. And I thought she did that well. She was very vocal. She's got a lot of experience. And she clearly, there's been the gel that we're talking about at the beginning. That gel's there, because I didn't feel like there was any sort of apprehension from her. She controlled the team well, and that's, you expect that as a coach or a manager. You expect that from your keeper. It's a given that the keeper manages kind of when you're on the pitch what's going on. So no, I thought she was phenomenal, and yeah, she let a goal in, but I mean, to be honest with you, as Lonnie's finish was,
Oh,
I mean,
there was
she's
no
right
stopping
footed.
it.
It was, yeah. She was
It
what,
was class.
10 yards out of that. She was
Yeah,
never going to miss.
quality.
It would have took something to save that, but it's highly unlikely anyone would have saved it. But
Yeah.
overall, great performance, and I can see why they've gone to Sunderland and poached her away and got her, because the ability was, yeah, she's there. She's athletic. She can, she's got the aerial ability. She's got the floor. Even a goal kicks. Everything. That distribution was brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the quality shone through, and that scoreline would have looked very different if
Mhm.
we didn't have Moan there. So that was really great to see. Um, you're talking about like the communication between like the goalkeeper, the rest of the players and stuff. Like I thought our defense wasn't holding formation like we've
Mhm.
probably seen it in the past, and that might take some time to probably get there and develop. But I think I think what
Excuse me.
was the most irritating thing to me, which our lovely Yvonne has called out here, we were screaming in the chat, the corner at full time. Like
Mhm.
Becky was going absolutely ballistic about
Mhm.
it, as we all were in the chat. Like I've never seen that before in men's and women's games. Like if there's a corner, you take the corner and then you blow the whistle. But for some reason, it literally would just stop the game and we had a corner. And
Mhm.
Becky was pretty much on the pitch going wild about it because we were in it. Like it's a corner that could have
Yeah.
altered the
An
scoreline
attacking
for us.
position, of course. And I mean, I don't know now, without looking into it, what the referee and FA rules are on it, but it's always been that you've finished the state of play. A referee has to let the game, if it's in a state of play of being, attacking, that phase of play, whether the ball runs out to a goal kick, you let it go to that point, and that's always been the way it's been. So I have no idea what the referee was thinking.
Do you not think like
No
I think
idea.
the ref for me throughout, unbiased, but just
Mm.
was missing fouls all over the shot.
Yeah,
Like I didn't think they were like, for one team or the other, but genuinely, I thought that ref was absolutely
yeah.
shocking. There was like handballs happening. It's like, oh, it's fine. Like, let's just
Mm.
crack on. Like, and as much as I enjoy, like, let's keep the rate of play, let's not slow anything down. It does change the course of a game if someone has committed a foul during it.
Mhm.
So I think the ref really disappointed me this year, as they always do. Like somebody who's just put here, Trev. Look at this ref from Sunderland.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, probably. But it was a really interesting one for me. I think it was encouraging in places.
Mhm.
It was really positive in places as well. I'm interested to think, is the fitness being quite similar going to really hurt us this season? Because really that's where we've always been able to up the ante and
Mhm.
dominate teams in that second half. And
Mhm.
I think just seeing how it was so similar and just end to end completely,
Mhm.
what do you think Becky could do to actually counteract that?
Well, she's changed formations for the first game of the season straight away, because she's trying to adapt and bring the players she's got and the ability she's got in to have it under one team as opposed to keep it to that formation. It will change according to the opposition, of course it will, because they look into it to see what the opposition formation is, and they try and adapt to it and change it. But primarily, I don't know if that's what they're going to keep to as they've started from. Um, it's a hard one. I think for me, if I was Becky, over the course of this week and next, because obviously we don't have a game due to Reading, but I would be working on possessional play. I would be working on more bonding between the players because that's what it's going to come down to. I don't think head to head fitness wise, although every game's going to be like that, so fitness isn't going to give us an advantage anymore. I still think was more superior because technically with the ball, when you've got the likes of Stobbs, Body, Emma Kelly, Rachel Furness, Demi Stokes running down the wing and overlapping your wingers and forwards and supporting, delivering in the box. Barker, again, she was good down the right. But overall, I think that we have the ability and we're a lot stronger than others. So I don't think that's going to affect her. I just think all it is for me is time. That's
Yeah.
purely Sam. Like it's going to come down to gelling time. It could sometimes it takes teams, like even a full season when you're changing that amount. When you look at the women's game or the men's game, either way, right? And you look at the men and they bring in one or two players. You brought in Anthony Gordon, and he took a good 6 games. That he was, Eddie Howe was filtering them in for the first
Mm.
4 or 5 games. Same as Bruno when he came in. You're only changing a small amount in your team to adapt. Like we've changed what 8 players, 6 in the starting 11. That's a lot. That's nearly a full team. So you've then got to start to work on very basic again and go back to the drawing board of like starting to get to know your peers in your team and where the runs are. Where I, most of my team when I played football knew I was greedy as anything. I didn't mean to be. I just was.
Wow.
I was that type. Yeah, no, I was that
Personal
type.
omission.
Yeah, I was that type of player that I ran with the ball. I was skillful. Like when I picked up the ball, like they knew they started just run. Aran's got the ball. She's going to feed in somewhere. She's going to dink the ball over the top. Or she's going to go around 2 players and shoot. They knew me as a style of player, so they knew what to do. I wouldn't generally ball to feet because the forwards in front of me were not them type of players. They weren't the heels where they would hold the ball up and play people in. These were fast forwards where they wanted the ball in behind. So it's it's going to take that time, and you've got to build that. But I can see, I can see the progression. I can see where it's going to go to because of the ability of the midfield players, and I can't stress to the listeners that Alicia Body in the future, given her a couple of seasons at this level, that girl's going to be a star. She reads play like it's someone with a lot of experience.
Well, she wants England, doesn't she? Like and I personally love that about someone. If you can, if you want to achieve a goal,
Mm,
you've shared your goal with the world. That's accountability. Like that just
yeah.
shows the type of ambition. And I want to probably come back on like the midfield and stuff, but I think sort of the forwards wise, we we kind of we missed opportunities. We squandered
We did.
chances. And I
Yeah.
think for those of you who've been following the lasses a while, that seemed very very different. And I
Hmm.
don't want to put everything down to, oh well, it's a new league now, it is going to be, it is going to be different. Is this just because we're fresh, we're green, new players? Like,
Hmm.
what is it? Because it just seemed like we just weren't on top of things. Like I thought Cataldo was a little bit off her
Oh, she was
A
for
game.
sure.
Like that's not the performance that I am used to seeing from Cataldo at all.
No, positional play was really out. It really was. I found that London City were getting in too easy down the left hand wing. And I think it tightened up a little bit in the second half, but that's something clearly that they'll work on. But yeah, no, I just I think that we gave away possession far too much. We were uncomfortable and under pressure too much because they weren't giving us time on the ball, and that's the adaptation of the speed of game. So in the leagues below, you can hold on to the ball more. You can everything's very easy, laid back. You can waltz around players because they're not at your level. Once you step up and you're at that level, you don't have the same time on the ball, Sam. So the ball will come in, and you used to be able to, yeah, I'll control it, and I'll have a good think about what I'm going to do with it. I'll lift my head up. I'll have a look around. You don't in this league. They'll be on them like that. They don't have time to think. Therefore, they were panicking. There weren't any composure, and it was like they just wanted to get rid of the ball like a hot potato. But it was going to one of the lioness
Yeah.
players, and then it was just coming back, and they were
Yeah.
doing the same, and it was going back. So it was like I was like with my head in my hands, going,
Yeah.
please, somebody, Potsy, some um somebody hold the ball in the middle, give a bit of composure, keep a hold of it, then start playing people in. Start, giving yourself a bit of space that just wasn't there. Um, we'll see as the season goes on. I'm hoping that will come. But it was too congested, and they didn't have the time on the ball they normally have, and they got a shock. I think they got a shock at the pace of the game.
And I think it was probably quite evident to see because of how well you referred to it earlier, like ping
Mhm.
pong. Whereas before, I think possessionally we've been really really strong, and our midfield has just held everything. So talk to us about the midfield because that's often where games are won and lost for us. What do we need to probably do to? I know that we need to strengthen, and that's going to take time. It's going to take like the team gelling together a little bit more and practicing
Mhm.
drills and all of that good
Yeah.
stuff. But
It's
in terms
positional
of
play.
it's expediting where we need to be because we want to make a really good go of it this season. We want to show that we are here to compete. So, what is it going to take when we've got so many new players in, so much to focus
Mhm.
on, and in a new league?
Yeah.
There's so much to do.
There's so much to do, and it's utilising your wingers as well. And I've just seen a comment popped up mentioned about why was Barker not on the
Okay.
left and on the
Yeah.
right, as she did last season. And I think it's because you've got your wing backs now, and they're very attacking. Like Demi Stokes is very attacking, so she's probably switched for that reason. But it's utilising them. We never. What was our when we look back now at last season, and you think about what was our main attributes, what got with the league, what got all the goals, what got was everyone scared of us. Like it was the wings. We used the wings when we had the ball in the midfield. The midfielders, whether that was Stobbs, Emma Kelly, Body, and whoever was in that middle part, and it fluctuated throughout the season a few times. They always got the ball, they opened the body up, and they spread it out wide, whether that was left or right. Now, in that game, there was none of that because it was again congested. They didn't have the time on the ball. I think they got a shock at the speed. There was no composure. So the wide players that we normally use to our strengths, that's Newcastle United Women game, using the wide players to get the ball into the box for someone to either get their head on it, it rebounds off to the edge of the box, and someone comes in and smashes it in the top corner. Like what that was our game. We didn't play to our strengths. Therefore, like because everything was in the middle, Demi Stokes didn't get a lot of time up. When she did go up,
Yeah.
she was getting caught. The same as
Shut down.
Cataldo.
Yeah.
Cataldo pushed up a few times. All of a sudden, as Lonnie got in, and she was behind the back three, and the one the back foot, and Potsy was panicking. She was backtracking, and so we put ourselves under pressure a lot of the time. We did it to ourselves. Where if we'd have played to our strengths, I think it could have been different. But again, I, I'm not the manager. Do you know what I mean? I just give me opinion.
But do you know what? It's funny because Wonder Woman's like posted a really good comment here about just getting the first game out the season. It was such high expectations, and we've been trying to do our best as a fan channel here to be like, right, everybody,
Just
calm your
chill.
pash, like
Yeah.
we're fine. But like it is going to be different. It is going to be a challenge, and perhaps the girls have been really feeling that as well. And we need
Yeah.
to sort of just give them all of the support that we can. Do you think? it is going to be different playing at Kingston Park? Are we going to get a different display at home?
Um, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like there was what just under 1,800 supporters at their game. It was a record crowd for them, and pretty much 800 of them with us. Do you know what I mean? It was.
Yes,
It was.
traveling Toon. Get
Amazing.
in.
Like the
Yeah.
support for away is just unbelievable. There's no one even matching when everyone's talking about it. They're like, oh, here's the Toon Army coming. Like they're going to bring the lot, and we do because we're like that and we're passionate. At home, I would love to see from the back of last season and games at St James and things like that that we get more at Kingston Park for starters. I would love to see. So anyone listening in the podcast, please get yourself down. It's dead cheap, next to nothing for a season ticket, and it's a great day out. Great for the atmosphere for families, things like that. So one for seeing extra people down there, and I think any when you're at home as a team, as a player, an ex-player, you always love to play at home. You know your pitch, you know your fans, you you've got this aura about you as a player inside that I can't explain to you. You're playing at home and you know you're at home. So I think yes, they'll be more comfortable, but again, we can't just rely on hoping we win at home. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, I don't know if it's for me. I think the home ground, Kingston Park. It's where you're familiar. It's where you're comfortable. It's where the majority of your fan base is going to be there,
yeah.
shouting yous on, supporting yous. Which
Mhm.
I think it's sometimes underestimated in the women's game how much the
Mhm.
crowd is going to make a difference to the performances that we have.
Mhm.
So I think that's going to be massive for them. I mean, when
Yeah.
I was watching it on YouTube, you could hear we were so loud, like all of the
Yeah.
chants and everything. It was absolutely class, and I know that there's a few key people who lead them down there, but I'm hoping that it really just gives them the, I don't know, that little bit of oomph that they need to like start the season, because this felt like a friendly. This was like a trial run for us,
Mhm.
and actually get us home, get us on our own pitch in front of our own fans, and hopefully that'll give us the confidence that we need to go on and sort of sort ourselves out, which is what we've needed.
Yeah, 100%. And it is. It's always an advantage playing at home. Hence why in cup draws and everything, everyone knows if you get pulled out of the bag and you're at home, you're jumping up and down. But 100%, yeah, because we've got huge fan base, absolutely huge, and that's purely down to us all, everyone listening, the people that go every week in, week out, and who's now taken a lot of interest in watching the women's game. So yeah, them girls will be jumping ready, especially it's different when you've got your family there as well. Some of them are not, and from different parts of the country, and their family can't be there, but some of the girls are local, and by having your family there, it does make a difference. You do want to do that little bit extra because you want to impress your family, and so for me, you always seem to play better at home, and it's always an advantage.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing that's doing my absolute head in, and we sort of touched on it a little bit earlier, is where is Kelly? Where is Kelly?
Emma
What's happening?
Kelly,
Has she
she's
has she
she's hurt
progressed?
she's hurt her ankle, so
Right. I can
she's
deal with an injury. I've got
yeah.
like people in the chat saying, "Oh, she's gone on." Like I'm
No, she's
looking
not. She's not. She's
like
injured.
on an absolute panic here, because
No,
I mean, what's Kelly going to bring? Because she was such a, I mean, Kelly
phenomenal.
embodied like, oh my goodness, like
Phenomenal
yeah.
for the majority of the season. I'm sure for Newcastle, she got player from the players, I think, or she got one of the awards from the team. But yeah, I know when Stobbs was injured and she was put in full time and she was playing about 8 games off the belt, and I was commentating at those games. She was absolutely phenomenal. I just felt like I was just commentating, saying Kelly every 5 minutes because she had the ball, and she was like spraying the ball about, and it was back to Kelly, and it was back to
Yeah.
Body, and I was like, do I know any other names here? Do you know what I mean? It
Let me
became
test
like that.
my knowledge.
Yeah, but yeah, no, phenomenal. But I think Becky's got a bit of which is a good thing to have in mind. She's got a big decisions to make for the centre midfield because she's got now very strong players, and they've all been phenomenal. And it's how do you manage that? Because you've got the team you've got. But it's a great problem to have. I'm glad it's not me anyway.
All right then, ever the diplomat. The lasses
However,
aren't here. Like, what would you do then?
um,
Just everybody who's watching, just look at Aaron's face just to put a bit more pressure on.
oh, stop it, Sam. Just stop it. Well, I mean, for me, Jazz McQuaid, great coming through the ranks, feeding in. She's done more than everyone we expected. She's done phenomenal. She's still very raw talent and is still a feeder for me. So probably in the midfield, I will be stepping Jazz McQuaid back onto the bench and bringing her on because the caliber of players you've got, Emma Kelly's got to be in the middle. She's got to play.
She's got
Um,
to.
she's got
I
to
agree.
play, and like I say, Jazz, it's nothing. It's not because she's young and she was always like feeding in. She's still very new to coming through even the ranks from the development team. So she's doing way more and she's been exceptional. But yeah, for me, I would drop Jazz to the bench.
I
Emma
think
Kelly
Jazz
comes in.
needs minutes though before you
That's
move
it.
on. Like
No, no,
she
of
needs
course
minutes. She
she
needs she
does.
needs the game time because like you're right what you said earlier. She's got that natural footballing intelligence. Like
She
some
has,
people have got the quality, some people have got the intelligence. She's got both. She's
yeah.
just absolutely phenomenal. So I agree. She needs the minutes. I mean, but like I think Kelly's that strength that we probably need in that area.
She's she's one of those impact players, Jazz, and when you've got the likes of Kelly back, you're putting Kelly in, then I would then be bringing Jazz on as an impact player and giving her minutes from about, I don't know, maybe to half an hour, depending on the scoreline, of course. Like that all goes down to when you bring your subs on.
Yeah, yeah.
But generally, to give her more minutes, to give her the experience, give her the speed of play, and introduce her to this league, which is like way higher than she's ever played before, would be bringing her on as a sub like that. But Emma Kelly's played at this level and she's played higher, so you've got to go where experience and the way she played last season. You can't leave someone like that on the bench the way she's been playing.
I think it's pretty easy to forget about the experience that some of the women have actually got because we've seen them absolutely smashing the back doors off it, like in
Mhm.
the league below,
Yeah.
like and and surprising us and surprising everybody. But I think this is where we've been really smart with signings actually, because like
Mhm.
we've not negated the fact of yeah, it's great getting like young legs and quality in, but we've actually gone for a hell of a lot of experience rather than just going for like younger players who've already been in the league. We've opted for experience, which is probably quite telling to where we feel that we are with it.
Mhm. 100%. And they've brought in for, you've got a lot of young ones still coming through and got a lot to learn, and you learn a lot from experienced players. I did playing alongside some quality players at Doncaster Bells when I was a youngster. Karen Walker, she had 100 caps for England. I had England players around us, and if it wasn't for those players, they brought me on. I had learned a
Mm.
lot throughout the seasons from them. Um, but yeah, I do. Forward wise, what I will say, Sam, is that there was. I would love to see some more nippy balls played in, and I don't feel there's much pace up front, and I think we'll lack that.
Well,
Um,
this question probably speaks to it from Peter. Do we have enough firepower for this league? Do we have it? Have we seen enough to know if we have it?
hmm. So I totally get what he's saying. I don't think we've got the pace for it right now. Really don't. We've got the midfield to make it happen, 100%. We've got playmakers in there that can do a lot with the ball, that can provide some, make something out of nothing. Stobbs, one of them, Kelly, all the ones we've named, they've all got the ability to do that and play those balls in for the forwards. But Hales is a totally different player. You're not going to see many runs behind the back four. It's going to be to feet, or she's going to be striking from the edge of the box or close range. Like I say, a kind of a Harry Kane type of player. I don't.
Oh no, let's not do that comparison.
Then you've got the likes of Parker. Parker is quick, but again, she's on the wing, so she's not going to be in and behind. I don't know. I still think we're missing that little something, and
A little bit of something special.
yeah,
Something,
yeah,
something.
I do. I feel like we're missing that up front, the firepower wise. I think we've got the strength, the aerial ability.
We saw it last season though. We saw it with the players that we had. And I think for me, this is where there was some glaring mistakes up front.
Mm,
Like I could like see we had the intent to press. It was
mhm.
almost just like we didn't have the legs to do it.
No, nah. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll see as the season goes on and games, and I could be completely wrong here, and I hold my hands up if I'm way off. But yeah, from my first initial observation of the first game, that's the one thing I think that I wasn't really seeing. I wasn't seeing a player spin the defender and get in. I'm seeing holding up with a ball, and playing people in or having a shot. And I think sometimes when you come up against, quick centre halves, a bit like a Potsy, because there's a lot in this league that that sort of ability. You need something different
That's it.
now that will not just carry you through as it was. Um, and will it be enough? I don't know. I don't know.
It's a as you've said, it's a good problem to have. And Wonder Woman again coming in really good point here about midfielders having the variety there as well, because that for me is where we could have won that.
Mhm.
Now it's probably a good time to think about player of the match. For me it was Potts. Potsy was just outstanding. The physicality, shutting down play for me, but the calmness and the intent that was brought to everything. Like, I don't know what you think, Aaron, but who was your player of the match?
It had to be Alicia Body in the middle for me. She was the cog that
Yeah.
kept everything going. I love Potsy, and I always kind of sway to her. I generally do. And a majority of last season, I felt like I was just giving Potsy man the match every game. Do you know what I mean? But no, I think it definitely Body this game. She was the cog in the middle, but again, we need to keep a hold of that ball. We need to keep possession of the ball. It's not. We don't need to just panic, get rid of it because the speed is there. There's a midfielder on you. There's a forward. There's a defender on you, and you don't. They're panicking too much. They need to just calm down and play football and play to our strengths, not panic and kick the ball wherever just out of you know to get it out the ground.
For sure. And I think we've got a super chat here. Thank you very much, Ian. Just want to say what a great job you do talking about the Lasses team. Sam and Aaron, did not know how much about them till I watched your shows. So thank you
Oh,
very much,
that's
Ian.
good.
That's incredibly kind of you to say so. Aaron, we have got Sheffield coming up next week. It
We
is
have.
2 p.m. 22nd of September at Kingston Park. Now, the unknowns are because of the Barclays Championship YouTube channel.
Mhm.
Will it be on? Will it not? Don't risk it. Get yourselves down to Kingston Park if you are able. And if you see Aaron and I there, because we are season ticket holders, then come and give us a shout out. And Aaron, before we shoot off, I believe we
Mhm.
have a special guest next week. Is
Yes,
this
we
right?
do. Yes.
Away
I'm
then. How?
loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. So we have a ex Newcastle United women's player called Joanne Cartwright. I played with her for many years, well against her, should I say. And she played for them from day dot, from when the team was formed up until then she retired about 10 years ago. And she's going to bring a lot of history to the show and tell her what it used to be like, the players she used to play with, and how different things are nowadays from when she played, which will give us a big insight of, the professionalism that we've got now that we didn't have back then. And yeah, she's she's great. She was a very good player. She was a centre half for Newcastle. She went to Wembley. Um, 15 year ago, Newcastle United played Manchester United in the Charity Shield. A lot of you will remember the men, and the Newcastle women played Man United women before the game. So she'll probably come on and she'll go through the story of that when they played beforehand, before women's football was very big and things like that. But yeah, I'm dead excited to have her on, and she's a great girl.
Love that. Love that. Well, thank you for everybody for tuning in, watching this evening, all of the lovely comments. We absolutely love the engagement, and for you helping us grow this show as much as we possibly can. Huge thank you to the mods as ever, doing an amazing job, for Aran for keeping me company as well. So do join us next week. We will be back to our Tuesday at 7 p.m. slot. We do like to shift it about a little bit to keep you on your toes, though, but we are football fans here. We like to do some coverage. So thank you so much for everybody tonight, and have an amazing time. Thanks
Have
now.
a lovely
Bye-bye.
evening. Bye.
Come back and check out some breathing.